So we get to interview Eighth Shore Games to Eighth Shore Incorporated to talk to them about their new game that's coming out, inVokeR. So it's our first time getting to go meet game developers outside of PAX. So we are pretty excited. And hopefully they'll let us record us interviewing them a little bit and trying to think of questions that don't sound stupid. And we'll see you later. Bye. Okay, so we made a list of questions because, like I said, we haven't actually gotten to do this before. So thank you so much.
Sure, no problem. No, it's a pleasure.
So do you guys develop the game ideas as a group? Like, so there's people, what would work? Do you think, how did you come up with the idea for inVokeR?
Kind of. inVokeR specifically, it was kind of, we were just finishing up our previous game, Nightmare Grotto, and we were figuring out what we were doing for our next project, and it just sort of came together as a group thing where we're like, okay, what do we want to do next? We start with our timetable, which was like 3 to 5 months worth of development time, which is relatively short.
Yeah, that's
short. So we were trying to figure out, all right, what do we want to do within that time frame and stuff, and a space that I hadn't really seen filled in VR was Wizard Duels at the time. And I was like, you know, I personally love high fantasy. That's my jam. So since the position that I was in was sort of the role of coming up with the initial idea, I had pitched that to the team, and everyone on the team loved the idea of having like high fantasy wizard battles and stuff. So that's kind of where the idea began.
Now, are you a Harry Potter fan, or is this more like D&D?
I mean, I personally like, you know, I read both, or rather I read Harry Potter and do D&D. I'm more of a D&D kind of guy. So I think most of it would be rooted in D&D if I had to pick one.
Well, the elements kind of give you that type of thing. Are there going to be additional spells that are added later? Because right now there's five?
There's 5 plus 1 for each one of the elements that's unique, so technically a total of 9. Maybe is really the answer. Right now we're launching inVokeR on July 20th as early access, and really what we want to do is we want to shape the game's development around what the community wants. So if there's a lot of demand for something like, hey, we want more spells, or like a more extensive single player, or like 2v2 or stuff like that. So essentially we released a lot of a baseline of the game, and we just kind of want to see what people want and go from there. So if there's a lot of spells, for sure.
That's a really good idea. That is a really good idea, because I did notice that the single player was pretty minimal. And so I kind of figured that you were going for more of a PvP type thing, person versus person, just in case somebody doesn't know what that means.
That's certainly the focus. Is like we definitely want to have there be some single player content, simply because of the fact that it's VR. It's a very niche area. So finding someone who owns a headset is hard enough. Finding someone who has a friend who also owns a headset is even harder. So I mean, we've taken steps. So like there's Steam Friendless integration, so you can fight your friends easily. There's private rooms, so if you want to fight someone but don't want to put them on your friends list, you can say, hey, just join this room number whatever. And we also have random public matchmaking as well. But the focus has been the PvP aspect of things. And if people we need people to be able to do single player stuff just in case they don't know someone, and we like to think that,
or they don't like me, that I don't really like to talk to people online. I don't play PvP games. I really avoid anything where I have to interact with people I don't know. I have a weird online shyness that doesn't make sense.
Considering what we're doing.
Right. So yeah, that's why I was asking. But we did play through some of the PvP stuff. I really like the avatars. I love that you did the hands separate, but the shawl thing, cowl. I don't remember what that's called. It gives you an impression of an arm without having it, so you don't get that weird spaghetti arm.
It's really hard in VR because, depending on what you're doing with the actual tech itself, because you have the trackers now, but for the most part, you essentially have 3 different places that you get to track the players: the headset and the 2 controllers. So there's programs and stuff out there that you can use to simulate arm movement and stuff, but the difference between this and this with your elbow, unless you put a tracker on your elbow and program for that. And so we kind of wanted to make sure that we kind of minimize that weirdness. And with the cartoony and fun generic wizard aesthetic, it kind of fits with not really, ghost wizards, but we just wanted to make it feel like it was, magic-y.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you did a
works
really
really
good
well.
job. I
Thank you.
really like the avatars, and I didn't even catch that there weren't arms there until I was looking at him play later.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, there aren't arms there, because I thought, wow, they're doing such a good job on that arm tracking thing. So it was really well done. I like that a lot.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. I did find it pretty difficult to aim with the spell until you added a spell, and so I was actually wondering if you did that intentionally to force spell use, because to just toss
the
them.
fireball or whatever.
I one time I just stayed in exactly the same spot and then pressed the button, and it went in wildly different directions.
Yeah, I mean that with the way that we program it, that makes sense. But basically, what we want people to do is essentially pretend like you're throwing a baseball. Where hold down the trigger when you're ready, like swing your arm and let go when you would let go of a baseball. But we found that everyone has a different idea of where they think something should go when they do that, because you're not holding a ball, you're holding a controller, you're
Right.
obviously not actually letting go of it, so or at least I should hope not.
Right.
Wrist straps.
Yeah, please, anyone playing the game, please use your wrist straps. It's very important. I have
first.
almost broken a window twice, so but yeah, everyone has a different idea of where they should let go, and where they think it should go for it. So essentially, we just in the back end, we check for a certain period of time after you're swinging, when it held down, what's the last X period of time of direction is it going?
Right.
And that's how it determines
Yes,
where it goes.
yeah.
So it takes getting used to, and everyone has a different idea of where it should go, but if you practice a decent amount, then you should be able to aim pretty accurately. And we also have different small bits of strategy that involve with it too, because it actually also determines your speed. So if you do a really slow push when you let go, your projectile is going to go very slowly. But if you whip your arm really fast, it's going to go really fast. So if you get really good at aiming and can do that really fast whip, you're going to start barraging your opponent with stuff. So there's a lot of small things like that. So it's not really intentional that we made it hard to game. It's just kind of
Happened.
because we can't really please everyone kind of thing, and we're trying our best. But obviously, if there's a lot of outcry of everyone says that it's too hard to aim, we'll definitely look at tweaking it for sure.
Well, he was using the spell that made the target go to the target quite a bit.
Yep.
Yeah, he was using that quite a bit when he did it.
Yeah, I didn't realize that if you threw it slower, it would go slower. So that works really well for the split one and even the bolt, because it helps you sort of aim and.
Yeah, there's small things that you can do, and that was kind of one of the key focuses of design for inVokeR is depth and its simplicity, is generic of a phrases that is, or it's a cliche, I suppose, in the fact that we wanted everyone to have a very basic toolkit, right? You have 5 spells, everyone knows what the 5 do,
Right.
everyone's can pick that up decently quickly, but there's small nuances to everything. So as an example, split, which splits your projectiles from 1 to 2. And if it's traveling straight, it changes both of their trajectories, so it goes off. Your standard dodge is usually just going to be someone's going to lean to the left or right, because that's the least motion. So if you wait until the very last second and then do it, you cut off both of their avenues of escape. But if they don't move, they go around you. There's a very small amount of space behind you as well that your projectile will still be alive for. So if you are extremely precise with your timing for bolts, you can do it when it's behind them. Now there's very large audio cue when it happens, so it's not unfair, at least I think not. But there's small nuances for each spell that you can do for something like that. So throwing it very slowly, there's a small amount of aim assist with when it's there, so it'll curve more heavily because it has more time to do so when it's slower. So there's small bits of strategy that you can learn the small nuances for, and that's kind of what we were aiming for.
Yeah,
give it a lot of practice.
We didn't get much time. We didn't get much play time before meeting you. We only played. I played for maybe an hour, and he played for a little bit more. And he's gonna play with his because we got the other key for his friend that also has a VR headset. So they're gonna play together
You're
this
one
weekend.
of those few people that have that.
Well, good. You're a target audience.
So we will incorporate that into our review as well. Is there anything else? Oh, I mean, do you want to ask a couple questions, since I seem to be saying everything?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, can you tell us a little bit about the company background, the team background, like how you guys?
Certainly.
I mean, I read a little bit on the website. There was a short description, but if you could tell us a little bit about it.
So 8th Store's been around for I think about 3 years now, and it was founded by Chun Liu, who was a teacher at DigiPen Institute of Technology, which is one of the largest gaming colleges and most well-known ones in the world. And essentially all of our team members, other than myself, are from DigiPen and DigiPen alumni. And they're all extremely talented, honestly. Like I feel silly being surrounded by such talent when I myself am just kind of like, I like video games. I can play video games real good. So, I mean, my background is I worked at Nintendo of America for 8 years. And I did a lot of QA testing there for my time there, along with other various tasks. And that's essentially us. We're just a very small team, less than 15 people, and I mean that's pretty much it.
I feel you, man. I boss around people that are smarter than me all day. That's what I do, so I can totally relate.
Is there anything else you want to tell us about the game that we haven't covered already?
I mean, really just reiterating the fact that we really want to shape inVokeR's development around what the community wants. We're launching in early access. It's $14.99 to start, but we have a 40% launch discount for the launch window, which I think is 2 weeks. And that is just so that people can try to pick it up early to get a large user base. And just say that, please, if you buy the game, which, first of all, thank you if you buy the game.
All right.
And second of all, if you do buy the game, be patient online, because VR multiplayer is niche, and there's probably not going to be a whole lot of people online. We are trying our best to get as many people online as we can. But, tell your friends, have friends tell their friends that have VR headsets. Just get the word out there if you enjoy the game. Past that point, we're going to continue trying to shape it around what people want.
I think that's super cool. I think that's really, really neat. So.
Yeah, and that actually was one of my other questions about early access, and I know you had 2 other titles. It was and I can't remember the titles. One was the Santa Sling.
Yeah, Santa Sling.
And then there was one other one, the Nightmare or something.
Nightmare Grotto.
See, I was close.
You were. So Santa Sling was our first foray into VR, and it shows. It was our experiment. It's a small seasonal game. I believe it's $4 right now on Steam. And it's a very basic slingshot game, very casual. Just deliver presents to the houses and what have you.
Right.
Nightmare Grotto was our second attempt at VR, and it's a decently safe bet in the fact that it is a horror wave shooter, which of course there are a decent number of.
Yes.
But I think what sets Nightmare Grotto specifically apart is the fact that we focused very heavily on the aesthetic, whereas the basic gameplay is it's point and shoot. It's people get it. So instead, we focused very heavily on trying to immerse players. Get those scares and people who like the horror genre and stuff like that. And we made the later levels very challenging. So there's Steam leaderboards and stuff for replayability. But it's I think $8.99 on Steam right now. We had it on summer sale. And we definitely plan on any other seasonal sales and stuff that come up on Steam. We'll very likely discount it. So keep an eye out, I suppose.
Right. And the reason I brought those up was I was going to ask, did you also do early access with those ones as well, or?
No, we did not.
Okay.
inVokeR's our first early access title, just because the other games, while very simplistic, were targeted to be completed. So we didn't really have much plans to continue development on it. But for something like inVokeR, which is a PvP title, we don't feel like anyone can really just release a game like that and not actively listen to a community in order to shape whatever the game's changes and developments do. So we kind of opted to do early access, and despite it having the early access tag, we're striving to make it as bug free and polished as possible, because there's a lot of early access games out there that are like, I launched the game, it crashed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the pre-alpha version.
Yeah, and this is like as far as we're concerned, the inVokeR that we are releasing right now could potentially be considered a final product for the sake of how polished it is and how clean it is. Although the content is sparse.
Sure.
That's the idea. Is that like here's the baseline of each of the content. You as a community, please tell us what you want for us to expand upon.
Yeah.
But hopefully not everything is broken and exploding. So.
Right. Yeah, I think we both got that sense. Everything seemed to work well, and I mean, obviously the throwing the fireballs still we need to train.
Yeah.
But,
I didn't find the menu super intuitive. Like I went through the first tutorial and then I thought I was done. I didn't realize there was more until he got in there, and I was like, well. That would have helped. But that could have, I just might not have just noticed it. Some of them seem a little small.
Yeah, a little small.
Yeah, no, they are, and that's perfectly valid feedback. We've actually experimented back and forth with that particular thing, having people continue the tutorial straight from it.
Dropped you back to the
Or
menu.
back, yeah. We were still messing around with it, and we're definitely willing to take any feedback with that. The only concern that we have with that particular reason, and the reason it's currently implemented the way it is the fact that the tutorial itself, we received certain feedback of it's too long, it feels too hard, stuff like that, and that's when we were like, do you want to keep going? People were like, yes, and then they're like, now it's too long because I said I wanted to keep going, and it's like, well, so. It's a difficult balance to find, but if it's something that we get a decent amount of feedback on, we will tweak it because that means that we need to tweak it.
Yeah.
So are you gonna keep up with the comments then? I am assuming.
That is the goal.
On Steam.
On anywhere that we can find the comments, Steam community is probably the easiest conglomeration of
Right.
comments that we can find. I personally am definitely going to be taking a look at the comments as often as I possibly can.
Sure.
And determining what to do from there.
Yeah,
Cool.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to go. That's neat. I don't think I've talked to anybody, even like at PAX, that was their plan. So I think that's a neat plan.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Did you have any other?
Yeah, I got two more questions.
Two more questions. We don't want to take up too much of your time.
Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah. I was kind of curious what your thoughts are on VR in general. Like,
Mine personally?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the idea of VR.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really cool. I think the technology is at its infancy.
oh yeah.
The tech right now is having a lot of trouble of adaptation simply because of the fact that it's price and space.
Yep.
So, and it's completely understandable, honestly, as a consumer, when you're looking at something, you're like, is there anything compelling enough to make me want to spend like $1,000 and have the space and ready for this? It's a difficult decision to make financially for something like that. And it's a hard sell, especially because like it's kind of the way the current industry is, and that problem are running counter to each other because right now there's such a small market that making a really long, compelling experience doesn't make financial sense.
Right.
As much as I want to make, a 60-hour RPG,
Right.
the amount of time it takes to do that right is staggering. So the amount of development cost that is, there's no way you're going to make that money back, period.
Right.
At least not with the current market.
Right.
But it's hard to expand that current market if there aren't compelling enough
Right.
experiences to do this. So like that's I think VR has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
I personally really like it. There's nothing quite like being fully immersed in a game like that.
we would
It's
agree.
really, really cool. And I really hope that, these problems get solved because, as a consumer speaking personally, I would love to see like 60-hour RPGs and stuff and, an actual proper like MMO in VR or something like that.
Yeah.
So I hope that VR continues to grow and then that future is there.
Yeah, us too. That's why we started the channel, is to be advocates.
Yeah.
Really, and we've actually done things like bring our VR rig into work and like spent the whole day letting people play.
Try
So,
just to get the
So we're
fever.
totally. This is advocacy, is really why we're doing this.
Yeah, and then like I know developers like us appreciate it
Yeah.
greatly because that's honestly what we need. And it's something that I've also noticed is that like trying to convince someone to do VR without actually having experienced it is really hard.
It is like
And-
weirdly hard.
Yeah. Like and I can understand because I was honestly in that boat for a while where I was like, I'm not convinced enough to do it. And then I tried VR for the first time at a VR arcade and I was like kind of blown away. Oh, the tech is actually there.
Yeah.
I was not expecting the tech to actually be there. Because people always talk about like, oh yeah, no, it's totally 1-to-1 and there's like no lag and it feels like you're really there. I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm sure that's exactly how it is. And then I put on the Vive and I'm like, oh, I can juggle these.
Hey guys, this is 1-to-1.
And that was the thing, is like I'm sitting here like throwing the controllers up and down, like and flipping them and catching them, and like you have to remember like you have a thing on your face, so you're not actually seeing them, and you can do it. And it's just like, huh? I guess you can do this, and that's really what got me started on VR personally.
It's super neat. Ever had a VR injury?
Yeah. Plenty of times. Unfortunately, I think the worst one was not one that I inflicted upon myself, but rather that I inflicted upon our lead designer, Tony.
Oh, no.
I'm doing stuff, and I run off of a laptop because of various testing reasons, and so the play area actually kind of gets shifted a little bit.
Oh, sure.
Because like we move the lighthouses around a little bit and where the thing is, and it's weird, but eventually my play area got, over like a month or so, got too close to his desk and I didn't notice, and inVokeR specifically is very, intense. So I'm doing some testing and I do like a really hard overhead swing and just back him right in the back of the head. Oh, I'm so sorry. I felt so bad. I still won that match, but I felt really bad.
Well, you won the match, though.
Well,
so
the important things, right? So, yeah.
You didn't have to go to the hospital or anything, so...
Other stuff is just like me like hitting walls with my fists. And, the
I ran into
stuff.
his back with my face once, and I like got black eyes. It was bad.
Like setting up those play areas so that they're like, you give yourself like an extra foot of room to where you're actually wanting to be. Is kind of important.
Yeah. So that the thing pops up a little sooner than
than you need to. Especially because like you won't see it until you're like doing this, and then the player's like right here, you don't see it, and you're like, oh no!
Smash!
Hit a wall or a person. Or
it's a good thing, I think, to talk about, because it can give people more of an idea of how real it feels, because you
forget.
You forget.
You do. Like you completely lose yourself in this world, and especially like if you're in VR and it's like an open field, and you're like, oh sweet, I'm just gonna walk forward, ball.
Or hey, put my arm on the table. I don't know how many times I've almost done that.
I have thankfully never had that problem, because I almost did one time, and because I was playing a different free game that happened to have a table where my actual desk was.
Oh, so you did
I set my controller down on it once to do something, and I came back to pick it up, and then I had to turn around, so I kind of like tossed my controller at it, and just like, oh yeah, that's not a real thing.
Different table.
That's so funny. That's great.
I think the only other thing I was going to ask was, I saw, it looks like you have one other game in development on the website, but it looked like it was for mobile. Just curious if there's anything else you guys are working on for VR, and if there's anything we can expect.
The mobile game specifically is something that we've actually already released elsewhere in the world. So it's called Dragon Disciples.
Yes.
We're planning a US release at some point.
Okay.
We'll get there.
I did see, coming soon.
Yeah, it'll get there eventually. But the other VR titles and stuff that we're working on right now, mostly, I can't talk into too many specifics, obviously.
Sure.
But mostly right now we're a ways off probably before we release anything else on Steam.
Sure.
But for now, most of our focus is just going to be on inVokeR and making sure that we do everything that we can for that. So if there's anything else coming soon, then I'll probably reach out to you guys and let you know.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and we're following you on your page on Facebook too. So. Yeah.
And we have like 70 likes.
Yes, that's how we know we feel the same way. Every time we get a new like or follower, it's still a party. So all right. Well, thank you again so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys coming down.
Yeah, this is fun.
Oh, now it's recording.
Yeah. Hope you recorded the other one.